what I had suspected. This is by Russia Today, December 30th, 2014. Nearly every criminal case the FBI and U.S. Justice Department has reviewed during a major investigation that began in 2012. That is, a review investigation began in 2012 about nearly every criminal case the FBI, every criminal case throughout the country. Regarding an FBI lab unit has involved flawed forensic testimony, the Washington Post reported. What this is saying is that since the 1980s, there's been often a lot of flawed forensic testimony, a lot of it. And they had began an investigation in the year 2012 to look into all those court cases since the 1980s. The review, originally spurred by Post report in 2012 over flawed forensic testimony by Federal Bureau of Investigation lab technicians that may have led to convictions of hundreds of innocent people, was cut short last August when its findings troubled the Bureau, according to the Post. The review was ordered by the Justice Department to resume this month, government officials said. Most of the defendants in cases that involved possibly botched testimony over microscopic hair matches were never told that their case was part of the review, which includes 2,600 convictions and 45 death row cases from the 1980s and 1990s. In these cases, the FBI's hair and fiber unit claimed it found a match to crime scene samples prior to the age of DNA testing of hair. The FBI reviewed around 160 cases before halting the investigation 11 months ago, officials said. The probe resumed once the DOJ Inspector General lambasted the FBI for the delay in this investigation and another involving the same forensic unit. The Department of Justice spokesman said that by last August, reviews were completed and notifications offered for defendants in 23 cases, including 14 death row cases, that FBI examiners exceeded the limits of science when linking hair to crime scene evidence. Yet the FBI restarted their review, given concerns that forensic errors applied to the vast majority of cases. Yet the FBI restarted the review, given concerns that forensic errors applied to the vast majority of cases. So in other words, 2,600 cases of innocent victims, innocent people convicted of crimes they never committed, including 25 death row suspects who are actually innocent, are what they found so far, which indicates there is a huge quantity of innocent people falsely convicted. Makes sense, because in 1974 abortion was legalized, and since that's the killing of innocent people going off scot-free committing the crime of murder, it would only make sense that there would also be innocent people falsely accused of crimes they did not commit, because that's an additional number of innocent people, for instance, thrown in jail. A DOJ spokesman said that by last August, reviews were completed and notifications offered for defendants in 23 cases, including 14 death row cases, that FBI examiners exceeded the limits of science when linking hair to crime scene evidence. Yet the FBI restarted the review again, given concerns that forensic errors applied to the vast majority of cases. They have concerns that a vast majority of cases have forensic errors. This restart caused major delays in the investigation, leading to objections by the Department of Justice in January. The Federal Bureau of Investigation and Department of Justice standoff was finally resolved this month. I don't know whether history is repeating itself, but clearly the latest report doesn't give anyone a sense of confidence that the work of the examiners, whose conduct was first publicly questioned in 1997, was reviewed as diligently and promptly as it needed to be, said Michael R. Bromwich, Department of Justice Inspector General from 1994 to 1999. Now we are left 18 years later with a very unhappy, unsatisfying, and disquieting situation, which is far harder to remedy than if the problems had been addressed promptly, he added. The reviews resumed this month under original terms based on an order by Deputy Attorney General James M. Cole, officials said. The delay came in part from a vigorous debate that occurred within the Federal Bureau of Investigation and Department of Justice about the appropriate scientific standards we should apply when reviewing FBI lab examiner testimony. Many years after the fact, The FBI said, working closely with DOJ, we have resolved those issues and are moving forward with the transcript review for the remaining cases. Emily Pierce, a Justice Department spokesman, said, the Department of Justice never signed off on the FBI's decision to change the way they reviewed the hair analysis. We are pleased that the review has resumed and that notification letters will be going out in the next few weeks. Since 2012, the review has addressed only about 10% of the 2,600 convictions under suspicion and maybe two-thirds of questioned death row sentences. The DOJ will notify defendants about misconduct in 2 more death row cases and 134 non-capital cases over the next month. The department will also complete evaluations of 98 other cases by early October, including 14 more death row cases.